Lovely pictures tonight from the South Bay. How about that sunset? And it's a scene set for us as we're getting ready for the Marine League opener for Carson at Banning. Should be a terrific football game. Hello, everybody. My name is Randy Rosenblum, set to call the play-by-play. This is Greg Camarillo of NFL fame. Very good wide receiver. I know you're excited because it's homecoming here, and there is a very electric atmosphere.
Homecoming just means more energy. The drill team left the field, the stands are packed, and there's a lot of energy out here on the field tonight.
When you talk about energy for the offense of the Carson Colts, it starts with their 15-year-old sophomore quarterback, Ja Bellinger. He's a good one.
And the most impressive thing about him is his knowledge of the offense. Coach McCall told me that he's expanding the playbook, which normally happens for a senior quarterback. So for a young guy to take on that challenge is something impressive.
And he was the hero of this game last year when he tossed 3 touchdowns against the Pilots at Carson. On the other side, Banning likes to run the football. And Joe Villarreal was second in the league last year in rushing. This year, he's number 1. Nobody has more yards in this league than Villarreal.
And we know he's going to get some action tonight. He has 10 touchdowns already. He's averaging 7 yards per carry, and he has 4 games where he went over 100 yards. I would expect to see the ball in his hands early tonight.
And we would anticipate some fireworks tonight. Maybe Villarreal and company can get a victory on homecoming. It won't be easy. The Carson Colts are very good. The Colts and the Pilots next. Our game of the week from Chris Ferragamo Field in Wilmington. By the way, Chris Ferragamo coached 9 city championships here in Wilmington. Windy evening. The rivalry's been one-sided lately. Look at that. Carson's won 16 in a row. Banning's last win was a big one in the 2000 city final, 26-10. Carson's won 11 city titles. Banning has 12 championships. Maybe, just maybe, the best kicker in the city section has it teed up. That's Augustin Delgadillo, the senior. Don't expect a run back here, Greg. I think he'll probably kick it into the end zone, especially with that wind at his back. The crowd making a lot of noise here at Banning High School.
Coach McCall told me that Delgadillo is the unsung hero of the team, and he relies on his kicker for big plays, and he puts the ball deep, often resulting in touchbacks.
No question, he is a weapon. If it's a close game, it's advantage Carson. This one is not going to get to the end zone. Fernandez with the return. Turns it upfield. And he's upended across the 40-yard line. Excellent return by Robert Fernandez.
Fernandez is able to get to the corner from a huge block, number 9, Ja'Cory Moe, right here at the corner. Bam! Fernandez gets up the sideline. A great way to start the game if you're a Banning.
There is Miles Porter, the senior quarterback. The transfer, you got it, from Carson. Said last year when they lost against the Colts, he was too hyped up, thinking about playing against his ex-teammates. Out of the pistol alignment. Villarreal. Nice run into Colts territory. Daniel Hernandez is a big wide receiver, dominant blocker on that outside, and Corona's a good one as well. Veteran crew out there, those wide outs. That offensive line is experienced, and Conde, the left tackle, can be dominant. Second down, short. Porter, first down, into the open field to the 40-yard line of Carson. Colts on defense in a 4-3 alignment. Moses Ale is the younger brother of Roman Ale, who led Narbonne to the city championship. Of course, he was their great quarterback. Joseph Torres is an all-city linebacker. We'll see him go from hash mark to hash mark. And that secondary, Tyler Washington, is tremendous, especially as a kick returner. First down, 40-yard line. Porter running option, just tossed it into the ground, incomplete. That was an odd play.
It was an odd play, and it started out with an odd formation. And technically it's a forward pass, so it's just considered incomplete. They're looking for a quick shovel pass here to draw the defense forward, but the Carson D is having none of it. They were all over it.
Miles Porter, accurate thrower. He's a physical guy at 220 pounds, so he's running downhill. And he runs it again. Moses Ale with the stop. It's tough to run inside against the physicality of this football team from Carson. There's John Aponte in his 4th season. Won 3 games, 5 games, 5 games. Now he's gotten out to a 5-0 record with 7 wins last year. He's just improved the program every year. 3rd down, 8 to go. Hernandez, the motion man. Porter looking to throw. Beautiful defense by Elijah Rice. That's a linebacker getting back in coverage.
John Aponte gambles a little bit because he loves to go for it on 4th down. So on 3rd and 8, he knows he's got another play in the pocket. He tries to go deep and get some chunk yards, but that is just blanket coverage by Elijah Rice.
Bring up a 4th down. Elijah Rice, very strong, fast. Former defensive back who was moved to linebacker, so you can see those DB skills on that play. So our first big 4th down of the evening in a Marine League opener. Porter, another deep ball. Did he come down with it? He did. Daniel Hernandez, 1st and goal, Banning.
Great job by Miles Porter sitting in the pocket. He has protection from his O-line, and he launches a nice deep ball. And in football, great offense beats great defense every time. An amazing catch right there to keep the drive alive.
You love how he was able to catch it, come down and hold on to the football. Villarreal to the outside, touchdown Banning. Pilots with an impressive opening drive.
The man had 10 touchdowns coming into the game. He gets number 11, and you know the ball's coming back to him. An impressive job by the front line, protecting the passer when he needs to, but also creating holes for Villarreal to get into the end zone.
And remember that 4th down conversion, that throw by Miles Porter to Daniel Hernandez to set up the Villarreal run. Ryan Ramirez on for the PAT. Banning 7-0 in 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Joe Villarreal, he's had that ability to finish runs. He finishes this one and gives his Pirates the lead. Well, John Aponte had to love that opening drive. Physical on the ground, mixed in a good passing game.
Hey, be smart.
His star Joe Villarreal, an 8-yard touchdown to finish it off. The question will be, when you got players like Tyler Washington, and there he is, he's returned 3 kickoffs for scores, is will Banning be able to slow down the high-octane offense of the Carson Colts? Washington, 2 kick returns of 75 and 85 against Southeast. He had another kickoff return for a touchdown against Westchester. That one was also 80. Here's an onside kick. Talk about rolling the dice early. It goes out of bounds. Oh, John Aponte pulling out all the stops.
Not only did he surprise Carson, he surprised me. And actually an excellent kick to get that late bounce. And we'll see what the call is right here.
Charles Davis will have it for us. Veteran official in the city section, and a good one.
You couldn't ask for a better kick from a kicker on an onside kick. You get a couple low hops, and then you get that high hop where you're hoping your guy can jump up and go get it. Let's see how it turned out.
Washington's going to take the ball at the spot where it went out of bounds. First down, Carson. Here we go. We're ready. First down.
Oh, it was a procedure. It was against Banning, so Carson takes over with excellent field position. There's Jaja Bellinger. It's Jaquarian. That's his real name, but his aunt couldn't pronounce Jaquarian, so she said, I'm going to call you Jaja, and the nickname stuck. And he's a very good football player at a tender age, just 15, and he's going to show some play action on first down. That one's picked off. What a start. Sultan Moala with the interception. Boy, Banning's doing everything well.
You got a homecoming game. You've got the energy going. You get a long drive, score, and then Sultan Moala comes with a big pick. That is how you ignite a crowd right there.
Wanted to hit the tight end, Jeremy Washington, and this is just a terrific play. Moala will be all over the field. He returns kicks, plays offense. He's a fullback, and not the start Jaja wanted. And neither did his coach, Kevin McCall. So they're going to have to hunker down defensively as Porter goes back to work. And he's pursued and just throws that one away.
A good veteran move by Miles Porter. They were trying to set up a screen to Sultan Moala, and the defense was all over it. So just throw it in the ground, and you come back at 2nd and 10. A great job avoiding a negative play.
Well, Porter's a veteran. Yet he started his high school career at Carson. You know, in some respects, Banning looks in the mirror and they see the Carson Colts. 4 of their players started their prep career at Carson, now playing for Banning. I guess that just intensifies the rivalry that we have here tonight. Another deep ball. Corona's out of bounds. No good.
Give credit to number 22, Anthony Henderson, on the coverage for forcing the receivers so wide that there's no space to make a play. And Fernando Corona comes up with a nice catch, but he didn't save any room on the sideline.
3rd down and 10. Pilots at their 49. Porter again lobbing deep. He's got his man, Daniel Hernandez. 1st and goal. Banning. And that's the second huge catch early for Hernandez, his 30th grab of the year.
And I'm starting to see a trend. When Miles Porter wants a big play made, he goes to Daniel Hernandez. And I want you to see how he catches the ball with his hands. We talked about it last time. That is an incredibly hard catch, looking back over your head at the ball, and to land that right in the breadbasket right there. That's impressive. I like the play from Daniel Hernandez.
And he got isolated on the linebacker, Malcolm Lutu. Villarreal pounds inside the 5. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Elijah Rice with the stop.
Randy, Coach Aponte told me that one of the keys to him winning this game is controlling the tempo. And they're doing an excellent job of that. They want to go slow, they want to go fast, but they're getting chunk plays. They're coming back and getting small running plays. As of right now, John Aponte is doing that job of controlling the tempo of the game.
Well, Aponte had his 4th year, 36 years of age, was in the Marine Corps. Served in both Afghanistan and Iraq, and he's got a disciplined football team that is really performing well. They stay on the ground. An easy touchdown for number 2, Jimmy Langford Mayale. So Mayale comes in, and he gets into the end zone.
When you need to move bodies, you put the big guys in, and you just pile forward. And it works to perfection right there. Mayale gets in the end zone. This is his 2nd touchdown on the year.
Well, the Pilots couldn't have orchestrated or put down any kind of theme that would be any better than this. They've had the ball twice, 2 touchdowns. They've been on defense 1, and they got a takeaway on the Moala interception. We're seeing why they are undefeated at this point of the season. Offside against the Colts.
Still 1 on time down.
Looks like they're bringing the big bodies in, and they're going to go for 2.
This is not a surprise. John Aponte concerned about his kicking game, and now that they edge closer, 1.5 yards away from a 2-pointer, they're going to go for it.
They've only made 70% of their PATs, which is not the percentage you're looking for. But when you get that extra little boost and you get a little closer to the goal line, you May as well bring the big guys in and try to get 2 points on the board.
Speaking of big guys, Sultan Moala's in the backfield, the 5'11", 195-pound junior who had the interception. They feel he's the best athlete on the field. And it is Sultan Moala, and he easily scores. 2 more for Banning. The Pilots lead 15-0 and give great credit to the offensive line. They're blowing them out.
They are, and there are some big bodies on that Banning defense, but this line with tight splits, they just cram in there and just bowl forward. And it's as simple as that, and they're able to dominate the line of scrimmage right there.
Well, you see the 2 records, and Carson, very charitable defensively, giving up nearly 31 a game. So no surprise that Banning, who averages over 39, has come out quickly with 15. But this puts great pressure now on the offense of the Colts and Jaja Bellinger, who had the mistake and had the interception, the Sultan Moala pick.
It does, and we know that Banning's 5-0, so they're used to playing in the lead. But what we see is Carson is at 3-2 is not necessarily a negative in this situation because they've played from behind. They've been in close games, so there's no question mark. They know how to come back in games, and if you're going to respond, now is the time to do it.
And they have rallied back against Southeast, and they had a dramatic 41-40 victory to the Colts against Westchester when Joseph Bryson caught a 19-yard slant pattern as time expired to win the game. Here's another onside kick, and Banning appears to have had it. Wow. They recover the kick. So the Banning Pilots continue to make plays as Vincent Perez comes up with the football.
I've seen professional kickers practice onside kicks day in and day out, and I've never seen 2 beautiful onside kicks in a row like that. Credit to Brian Ramirez for executing an onside kick to 100% perfection.
Kevin McCall is shell-shocked at this point in his 4th year. This is a terrible start for the Colts. Wants his team to settle down. Mild-mannered Kevin McCall, former great running back at Carson, obviously unsettled at this point.
It's an unsettling position. It's an unsettling situation.
Yeah, they're back at the 48. Quarterback draw. Well, he's tough. Well, when you have a physical quarterback, he can get you some additional yards. Well, the year Miles Porter averages over 5 yards a carry. This one's coming back because of the flag.
So to go back to the onside kick, I think it's important to note that Tyler Washington has 3 touchdown returns, 4 touchdowns on kickoff. So they're weighing, is it more important to kick the ball deep and potentially give up a touchdown,
repeat, first down,
or to go for an onside kick with the upside of recovering the ball? And we see that it's worked out once and almost worked out twice.
Everything seems to be working for Banning. Extremely sharp in this first quarter. First down and 20. Carson desperately needs a defensive stop. Again, Carson has won this game 16 times in a row. Movement on that defensive front. It looked like Washington may have come across early. There's Jeremy. So the Colts give up 5 free yards.
One of the things that Kevin McCall preaches is they call it FCC.
Still, first down.
Concentration, and composure. And what we're getting tested here is the composure. You're down 15. You've just given up an onside kick. Let's see what the composure of this team truly is.
Greg, we haven't played 4 minutes yet. Porter back to the air to Villarreal in the flat with blockers in front of him. Down the sideline, inside the 40-yard line goes Villarreal. He is terrific, not only running the football, but certainly capable of catching the pigskin.
As a former wide receiver, I love to see guys blocking on the outside. Great job keeping their hands inside. We've got some flags here, so I'm not sure what they're for, but I love blocking wide receivers, and I'm sure Joe Villarreal does too.
Well, any way you can get him the ball. He's a humble guy, too. His teammates really love him, and they want to play for him and block for him.
Coach Aponte said that if I could get 50 Joel Villarreals on a team, that it would make the world a better place. And that just tells you what he thinks of them.
You know, by the way, better than a 3.5 grade point average in the classroom.
And he's looking at academic scholarships. You know, he clearly has football talent, but he also has the smarts. He's looking to go to college on an academic scholarship, so that guy gets it done in the classroom as well as he gets it done on the field.
That penalty's refused. We got a chop block also on the offense.
So we've
that
got two
accepted.
guys going low right
15
there.
yards.
That's where the penalty
still,
is.
First down.
Tag team a member of the defensive line with two guys going both low.
That'll set back the Pilots' offense all the way to their 35-yard line. They got to reach the Carson 38 for a first down. So they need 27 on first down. Porter on a broken play just tosses it out of bounds. Carson's defensive front with assistance from the middle linebacker Joseph Torres putting the heat on Porter.
This might be the longest drive of the night, and it's a negative drive of the night. We've seen them moving the ball quickly, but this one they're moving backwards.
And again, this is a physical front, an imposing front from Carson. It's kind of surprising that Banning's been able to block him this well.
They have size. That's one thing that Banning doesn't have that Carson definitely has, is just brute size. You know, they've got defensive linemen, Zion Scott weighing in at 275, Jensen Misa-Lafua weighing in at 310.
Yeah, Jensen is a very
5 yards.
good football player, a
Still
run
first
stopper,
down.
but he hasn't been able to be physically dominant so far. Legal man downfield, and Banning penalized on this series of downs. Well, Miles Porter will get him lined up. He says the game is slowed down for him, this veteran signal caller. Villarreal having to give ground, and this time the Carson defense able to penetrate, led by Joseph Torres, that fine middle linebacker.
I give credit to number one, Moses Ale, for holding down the edge. Joe Villarreal is thinking about breaking around the outside, but Moses Ale does a great job of pushing his man back, not giving Villarreal any options. He has to cut it back in where the rest of the defense is waiting.
He's a four-year player, that middle linebacker, Torres. Villarreal catching another one out across the 35 to the 37-yard line, brought down by Anthony Henderson, the cornerback.
They're going to find the way to get their ball to a playmaker. They're either going to hand it to him, or they'll just get a little swing pass like that. It is important to note that most Banning players play one way, while Carson players play two ways. So when you see plays like that and long drives like this, you're not just wearing down a defense, but you're wearing down the same guys that will be on offense for Carson.
Early on, this is critical for Carson. They need a defensive stop on 3rd and long. Well, there's no question that Banning is going vertical. And the long peg downfield. Intended for Lee Gomez. Got a 30-yard touchdown to Gomez in a blowout over Chatsworth. Very reliable receiver. So Carson, aided and abetted by some Banning penalties, holds, and they're going to get the ball back, and that was a much-needed stop for the Colts.
A much-needed stop. So that's the composure we were looking at. Will they come up with a play when they need it? I had a coach, Tony Sperano, and when I was playing in Miami, that always said, who's going to stop the bleeding? When things are going bad, who's going to step up and make that play? The whole defense stepped up right there when they needed it the most.
Still waiting for that explosive Carson offense to get it going. And of course, we're only 5.5 minutes into the game, and we've seen so many things develop early on. Corona's punt is away. Diego Vasquez with a short return. When we come back, we'll take a look at number 2, Jaja Bellinger, and if the Colts can get the offense moving. I think it's obvious. It's homecoming at Banning High School. The band is here. Great celebration early as the homestanding Banning Pilots scored 2 touchdowns. Jaja Bellinger back on for the Colts. They've had one play from scrimmage, and he threw an interception to Sultan Moala. Now they put it on the ground, and they're a very capable football team behind a huge offensive line. That was Tyus Maldonado, an excellent running back. Malcolm Lutu is a very physical fullback. Washington and Keskes and Bryson, 3 speedsters on the perimeter. And a huge offensive line. Zion Scott is terrific. Isaiah Nico, the left tackle, is also an all-league performer. Very good line in the Marine League. And for many, many years, the Marine League has been the league in city football. And these two schools with fabulous tradition. Malcolm Lutu up the middle for a first down. Down to the 47-yard line of Banning. Yeah, that Banning defense, Robert Terrasis, solid guy, veteran player, very long and fast on the edge. Linebackers, James Dempsey is a coach on the field. He tore an ACL last year. They're thrilled to have him back this year. And of course, number 5, there he is, the free safety, Sultan Moala. You'll see number 5 all over the field tonight. Already has that big interception. Staying on the ground, and Maldonado is twisted to the turf. That's the kind of penetration you want. Terrific play. Getting to the football was Jose Lopez.
Jose Lopez has 23 tackles on the year, so you know he likes to get into the action. He's a stout body up front, but that's exactly what you like, that small leverage strength.
I love weight room guys. He's 3 plates, benches 300 easily. Second down, 12. Lutu on that fullback carry and didn't fool Lopez again. He's tough. He's like playing in a phone booth in the middle of that line.
And you would assume that being 250, you're giving up. You have a disadvantage when the other side is weighing over 300 pounds. But he just uses brute strength to shake off number 54, Raul Lagpau, shakes off the block and then makes the play. That right there is just beautiful defensive line play.
It's 250 pounds on a 5'9" frame. Third down, still 12 to go. Carson offensively trying to get it started. Play fake by Bellinger. He's got an open target. He's got a touchdown. A huge hit for Carson, and Brian Keskes is in the end zone, and the Colts needed that.
Pure speed. Brian Keskes takes off on a deep post. And look at that beautiful deep ball thrown by Jaja. When I talked to Coach Aponte, that was one thing that he said his scouting report was worried about, was the way Jaja can throw a nice deep ball. And he put it on display for us right there.
Colts fans erupting with joy. El Gadillo for the PAT. Drills that one through. Brian Keskes averages 25 yards a catch. This is much greater than that. This is much needed. Beautiful play fake as well by the quarterback Bellinger.
And he was lined up as a tight end, which is not his normal position, and it might have fooled the defense, and he just took off full speed on that post route. A beautiful route and a great job by Jaja finding the open man and getting that touchdown.
49-yard strike, and we knew that the Colts had firepower. And you got to feel good, not only for Keskes, but for Bellinger, who had that early interception. Just a 15-year-old sophomore. Even with the great accolades, he shows us the ability to bounce back.
Yeah, you want to see how you react after a bad play. And to make up for that, he throws a touchdown. So the momentum is back. He's feeling good about his offense. And I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to go deep.
How about this wide open, wild first quarter? It has been fun.
An exciting football game. And this is why we love high school football, because you don't get this type of play at college and at the pro level.
El Gadillo kicking it to the near side. And Fernandez weaving upfield beautiful. That's a nice return by David Fernandez, the senior. And again, Banning would appear to have field position that's very good, unless Fernandez lost it coming down, and he did. And Carson recovers
Talk about a change of momentum. We had a 15-0 score, and all of a sudden it's 7-15, and Carson's got the ball back.
So Fernandez with the turnover. So the first few minutes all batting, suddenly the Colts attacking.
You see the ball low and carried loose, and all it took was a little bump, and the ball popped right out. As a returner, you got to know that guys are coming at you. Tuck that ball high and tight. I guarantee the next time he has the ball, it's going to be high and tight. Those are always tough for a returner.
Carson will start from the batting 38. Each side with a takeaway. Colts just 8 down, feeling a little bit better about things. They'll run from the I formation. Maldonado hitting his backfield and thrown for a loss.
Banning is absolutely dominating the line of scrimmage, and this could go back to the fact that the linemen are mostly two-way players, and they've been on the field non-stop.
Loss of 2. Sal Ropati, senior defensive tackle with the stop. Usually demands a double team. Missed a week ago. Didn't play because he had a foot injury. They had a bye, so he's had some time to get healthy. Bellinger. That didn't fool the defense. That naked bootleg to the outside. It'll be 3rd down and long for the Colts.
They've had success passing the ball. They haven't had that much success running the ball. So why do you continue to run the ball? And it's to keep the passing lanes open. You have to keep the defense honest, and you do that by mixing up the pass and the run, even if they're not both working.
3rd down and 12. Jaja Bellinger just threw that 49-yard touchdown to Brian Keskes. It was Keskes' 4th touchdown reception of the year. Down to 2:20 left in the opening quarter. Bellinger on the slant pattern. Down to the 15-yard line, and it's Keskes again.
We talked about his speed before, but this is just a nice, clean, sharp slant route, and he gets himself open for Jaja, catches the ball, and then turns it up to get even more positive yardage. Yards after catch is very important for a receiver, and we get a nice demonstration by Brian Keskes of how to catch the ball and keep moving.
Well, Keskes is a guy who's been moved all over the field in his career. He can play any spot, slot, wide out, tight end. Tough kid, can catch in traffic, and we just saw that there. 1st down at the Banning 16-yard line. Go to the power game with Malcolm Lutu. 3 yards to the 13.
It's rare these days to see a true fullback and a true running back. What's even more rare is for a fullback to get the ball so many times. But Malcolm Lutu has proven that he is a playmaker. He has a long run of 37 yards. That's not typical for a fullback, but that's why they give him the ball, because he's able to make things happen.
Well, he's their short yardage goal line guys. Rushed for 6 TDs this year. Powerfully built. Had 2 touchdowns against West Torrance. 2nd down, between 7 and 8 yards to go. They can get the 1st down without getting the touchdown if they can reach the 6. Inside of a minute to play, opening quarter. Maldonado to the 5-yard line. And a late flag. Thrown by Charles Davis. There he is, our lead official. Face mask. And the Colts getting some breaks here, some banning fouls.
So the offensive line for Carson has unusually wide splits. Oh, there was the call right there, and that's why the penalty was moving.
Obvious foul. There's Langford Mayale. Well, the Banning defense back on its heels in the final minute here in the opening quarter. 15-7.
Randy, you'll see what I mean by the wide splits of the offensive line.
Lutu to the 1-yard line. Tackled by Mark Tuafuli. to a Foley, the transfer. You got it from Carson.
It's playing against your pals. What's more fun in their first league game, in a rivalry game, to play against guys that you used to play with?
Well, Kevin McCall has to be proud. His team looked disorganized in the first couple minutes. Now that Bellinger's able to get that one back, covered up by Jose Lopez. But I was about to say, you know, the coach has to be thrilled, maybe proud even, how his teams responded to those early setbacks where they were hit quickly with the 2 touchdowns.
And we talked about that final C being composure, and that's something he stresses with his team, and we see that out here today.
That's the end of the opening quarter. When we come back, Carson will be looking for a touchdown. Hey, if they go for 2, they can tie it. But with Delgadillo, they'd never go for 2, you would think. But the Colts have responded. It was Banning very early with Villarreal. We have a good one in Wilmington. On Spectrum Sportsnet, we have a good one as we head into the second quarter with Greg Camarillo. I'm Randy Roseman. You can see they start those fans early at Carson. Young lady with the pom-pom. 3rd down and goal. And Banning getting tremendous push up front. Lutu had no chance. There's Sultan Moala again, and it's 4th down. Do you take the 3 here, Greg, or do you go for it?
Well, when your kicker is your most valuable player, you want to go for 3, but in a game that has this much excitement and this much scoring early, you're going to need those 7 points. And I think Coach McCall is on board to try to get that ball in the end zone.
So Augustin Delgadillo is not out there. They're going to go for it on 4th down. Fourth and goal from inside the 2. And we'll have some added drama as the Colts take a timeout. Well, we mentioned it earlier, the Marine League is the top league in the city section. And Narbonne, who, by the way, has won 18 straight. They get Gardena tonight. If they win that, they figure to win easily. That would tie the school record of 19 victories in a row. But there's Banning, San Pedro, Washington Prep. Coach Knox taking over, legendary coach, and he's turned that program around, 3-1. You see Carson at 3-2. Gardena is struggling, but overall, this Marine League is tough.
It is. Narbonne is looking outstanding. They have an explosive offense and an attacking defense. And it's good to see Banning off to an early start, 5-0, but everything can change halfway through the season when you start playing league opponents. That's when the competition takes it up a notch.
4th down and goal for the Colts. They've discussed matters. See if they can take it in. They pitch it back. And it's a terrific stop. And the ball's going over on downs.
They load the box. There's 8 defenders in the box, so they are dedicated to stopping the run. And you see that side-to-side speed, the swarming defense that keeps Carson out of the end zone.
Yeah, Ryan Rosser trying to run wide, couldn't get in the end zone, and a terrific job by this fine football team from Banning. So the momentum stalled for a moment because it was on Carson's side. Banning started with all the mo. Carson was able to wrestle it away. Here's Porter running upfield. Nice job on 1st down. Again, he's a physical guy. He's a specimen. He's yakking it up with Elijah Rice of Carson.
5'11", 212. He's definitely not a small quarterback. You get to see the power of Miles Porter as he bows forward through the defense. He's getting a little testy out there on the field. That shows a solid competition is going on.
2nd down and 1. This is their bread and butter, Villarreal. It's a nice tackle in the open field. You can't do it much better than that. Beautiful stop by Pele Pereira. Pereira's getting interest from Cal. Very smart, intense player. Had a huge interception in their victory. Dramatic win against Southeast. Carson front, very physical, not easy to run against. Surprising in the first 6 minutes of the game. Now Banning moved the football.
And this is the first time that they've had the ball backed up and having to go a long way to score. So it's a different approach defensively, and it's a different approach offensively. The offensive mindset is you need to get a few yards at a time just to get away from your own end zone.
Whereas if you're Banning, you want to protect the football. Did have the one Fernandez fumble. Carson got it back, but the defense able to stall the drive of the Colts. And here's Villarreal heading upfield. Suianoa with the stop.
Normally the QBs ice their arms after a game, but the amount of flags we've seen, I wouldn't be surprised if Charles Davis throws a bag of ice on his arm too.
Well, again, that speaks to the rivalry. Another hold. Pilots again have hurt themselves with penalties. But after the way this game started, you thought the Colts might have gotten blown out of here, but that's not going to be the case. Carson has bounced back.
Still second down.
Maybe even in this game get that other touchdown until Bannon had that goal line stand.
The energy in the stadium has changed as well. It went from being all Banning, all excitement, to a quieter crowd.
Porter throwing the football. Catch out at the 15-yard line. Brought in by Fernando Corona. It's a guy that can stretch defenses. He is a deep threat. By the way, Miles Porter is the cousin of Anthony Pandy, the great defensive star of Narbonne.
You get to see nice touch from Miles Porter there, throwing it to Fernando Corona, and a great job Corona of going up high, using his hands to reel in the ball.
3rd down and 12 for Porter, throwing underneath. It's tipped and nearly intercepted. Well, that was dangerous. Nearly another turnover. That would have been huge for the Colts D.
It's tough running across the middle when you know there's some linebackers in there and you get a high ball, exposing your chest, exposing your ribs. Those are hard to pull in.
Corona to punt. And Carson figures to get excellent field position. Diego Vasquez will return. He wears number 9.
John Aponte does not like to punt, but clearly in these situations you have to punt the ball. And he told me they've had maybe 2 or 3 return yards on the year, and that was 2 or 3 too many. So he preaches punt coverage to their team every day.
Well, Vincent Perez was tardy to the party. It cost Banning 5 yards. Two storied programs, Carson and Banning. And Banning with 12 city titles, second only to Manuel Arts, who won 17 titles. That one might have been partially blocked. And the Colts are in business.
And I guess we see why John Aponte does not like to punt. He'd rather go for it, but when you're backed up like that, you got to kick the ball.
Maybe it wasn't blocked. For a moment, the way it came out of there, I thought perhaps it was blocked. I've been told it was not blocked. Either way, a great opportunity for the Colts. They have wrestled the momentum back. We'll see what their offense can do. It is definitely a new era. Look at that technology on the sideline.
I love what Banning does here. Coaches often make adjustments, and players might say, I saw something different. When you have video on the sideline, it's easy to make those adjustments and get everyone on the same page.
From just outside the Banning 30, the Colts have it. Maldonado with a flag down. It's close to 5, but it was thrown in the holding zone, and this one's coming back. So the Colts ticket it. Colts last week lost a heartbreaker to West Torrance 24-21, and they put the ball on the ground 6 times. They felt coming in, if they cleaned that up, they'd be in a position where they could win this game. And early on, they had a turnover, fell behind 15-0. Now Carson has cut that deficit down, has an opportunity here, but after the foul, they'll be looking at 1st and 20.
Almost every coach I've played for has stressed minimizing self-inflicted wounds, and when you get in a holding call on play 1 and you're suddenly in a 1st and 20 situation, those are the things that you can control that you need to fix.
Bellinger to the air. Up for grabs and incomplete at the 5. Furman Smith was the intended receiver.
Great coverage by Daniel Vehar. He almost turns into a receiver right there, going up to high point the ball, but he was not fooled with the play going deep right there, all over it. Outstanding play.
Really was. And Daniel with a big time play, just a junior. Again, there's terrific depth on campus at Banning. They are the deeper football team, more athletes. And they figure to be good in years to come. Aponte's really built this program up. Bellinger, capable runner, but he is going to unload it. He's got a completion. That's a nice throw on the run to Keskis.
So we've learned that Keskis can catch the ball deep. We've learned that Keski has nice route running ability, but we also learn right here that he can catch the ball in traffic, which is key to being a good receiver. Sultan Moala is draped all over him, but he comes up with the catch.
3rd down. Still about 7 to go. You see the clock running down to 7:40 left in the half. Banning by 8. Carson's on the prowl. Slot left formation for the Colts. And they run it. Maldonado. Nice dance step there. Looks like he's got a 1st down.
This play, at the end of this play, it tells me that he has Tyus Maldonado has a high football IQ. Watch, he knows where the 1st down marker is. Watch out here as he extends the ball just to make sure that he gets a 1st down. That's a wise veteran move right there.
And they overcome a 1st and 20 after that holding penalty. Get that 1st down. Maldonado at 155 yards rushing last week in the hard-fought loss to West Torrance. Well, the Colts were down there before and got stopped inside the 5. See if this time they can capitalize in the red zone. That Banning defense, again, getting off the ball quickly. Carson felt coming in they could run the ball, and with a guy like Maldonado, certainly very capable.
And James Dempsey was just not blocked. He comes off the edge and he comes flying in the backfield and makes the play. I don't know if it was a scheme breakdown, if they were just hoping to break it in there before James Dempsey could make the play, but credit to him for diagnosing the run play and making the stop.
2nd down and 10. Ball sitting at the Banning 20. Bellinger, the sophomore quarterback. And the deep pitch. Ball's on the ground. Maldonado coughed it up. Banning recovering. I believe it was A.J. Moala, Sultan's cousin, that gets the recovery.
James Dempsey comes up again. He contains the outside, keeping the running back inside, and actually stuns the running back and causes him to drop the ball. James Dempsey is making some huge plays out there for the Banning Pilots.
There's James Dempsey, is the guy that had that ACL tear a year ago. In fact, John Aponte says of Dempsey, maybe he'll take my job. That's how much of a coach on the field he is. Well, for Miles Porter, he's back out there. The defense with its 2nd takeaway of the night. 1 interception, now a fumble recovery. 6:25 to play before intermission. We're going to have a timeout taken by the Carson Colts. Fine middle linebacker Joseph Torres, solid citizen on defense. He'll be called upon to make another defensive stop. Banning holding on to a 15-7 lead in this Marine League opener. Pilots by 8. They go back on the offense. And Villarreal goes to work. Inside or outside, he's so good. Now, not easy to run inside against the Colts, so they want to expand the field and go to the perimeter. And they have a guy like Villarreal who's certainly capable of doing that. And leads the Marine League in scoring and points scored.
We see Banning on defense containing the edge. We're not seeing the same thing from Carson, and that's why they're getting these 7, 8-yard, 10-yard runs.
Quarterback draw by Porter. Tough to wrestle him down, but one of his best friends just tackled him, Joseph Torres. Remember, Porter went to Carson. He is buddies with Torres. They talk all the time. I don't know how much they talked this week. But number 4 was in there along with Jeremy Washington.
There's nothing more fun than playing against your friends. It raises the level of competition. I was traded from Miami to Minnesota, and we played each other 2 weeks later, and it was some of the most fun that I've had in a game. I was nervous, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, but you're a nice guy, and they weren't going to pick on Greg Camarena. Not to say that Joseph Torres and Miles Porter aren't nice, but I'm sure there'll be some bragging rights after this one. Here's Villarreal, and that time the Carson defense stepped up, and it was Malcolm Lutu shooting the gap, number 10.
A strong two-way player, Malcolm Lutu's a fullback and a linebacker. But he diagnoses the play, finds the cutback gap, steps forward to make the play. A lot of linebackers will sit back and give up 2 or 3 yards. He does a great job of stepping forward and stopping the progress.
What you love about him, he's playing on both sides of the ball, and he goes 100% all the time. Doesn't take downs off. 3rd and 6. Down to 5 minutes left before halftime. A good one in the Marine League. Banning by 15-7.
We've got an audible signaled in from the sideline. John Aponte is calling a play.
Porter getting outside. Miles Porter. Lutu chasing him. Rice threw him out of bounds, and it's a first down run and a big conversion for the Pilots.
And that's the advantage of having a veteran quarterback that knows the offense. John Aponte calls a play from the sideline to tell him to keep the ball because he saw something good. Turns into a first down.
There is a flag out.
We've seen a few of those today.
John Aponte wants that explanation.
It looks like they're talking about sideline interference. They're getting their players to back away from the big white stripe on the sideline to give the refereeing crew room.
And there's the emotion of this rivalry. Now, this is a rivalry with great respect. When you talk to John Aponte, you know, they're going to shake hands and they're going to hug one another after the game. Maybe go out as a team with the Carson players. They like one another. He says the San Pedro rivalry a little bit more heated in the Marine League, but here there's great respect on both sidelines for one another.
And I don't think a little extra pushing is a sign of disrespect. Now, if it was a blatant late hit, that's one thing, but a little extra pushing is just showing how much heart these players have and how much they're pouring into this game.
Banning coach. 15 yards, first down.
First down for Banning after the flag. Now, John Aponte is an emotional guy. It was fun to watch him during the JV game earlier tonight, yelling and screaming. I said, Coach, are you like that on the varsity game? He goes, no, I'm a fan when it's at the junior varsity level. Yeah, here's that rivalry page that certainly Banning doesn't really want to look at. 16 straight wins for the Colts. That's in jeopardy tonight, but last time Banning got the victory, it was a huge one in the title tilt, 26-10. Can't emphasize enough, too, that between these two schools, 23 city titles, 12 for Banning, 11 for Carson.
Coach Aponte called that streak the elephant in the room and felt like he needed to address it with his team, and he did it simply by saying, that's the past. You cannot control the past. You can only control what we do here tonight.
Well, they controlled the first 6 minutes and bolted to an early 15-0 lead, and that's holding up, but still a long way to go in this one. Porter improvising. And Lutu grabs him and pushes him out of bounds. There you see Porter tap him on the helmet. You saw some good sportsmanship there, even though the crowd didn't realize it was good sportsmanship.
Did a little hands to the face there. We're getting some Miles Porter putting his hand there, saying a few things, but It's friendly chatter. You see that with a little pat on the helmet. I think the fans were upset that the man on the sideline took a little spill, but he popped up too.
Again, it's Porter. You can see him put that head down. He looked like a fullback more than a quarterback. Rice got him to the ground. I know you mentioned he's 212. I got him up at 220. He's added some weight. He's not 212 anymore.
And he even runs like he was 250. I love his mentality. For running backs and quarterbacks in this situation, it's about yards after contact. And he gets contacted 3, 4, even 5 yards before where the ball ends up. So instead of 3rd and 5, they're looking at 3rd and 1.
Yeah, the short yardage group is in. That means Jimmy Langford Mayale, who scored a touchdown earlier in this half, and it is Mayale looking to get outside and able to lean forward and get the first down. Banning is a football team that normally executes very well, very disciplined squad.
Got to see a little bit of agility there. The hole wasn't there right away, so he spread it out wide, cut it back inside it. That's good to see from a short yardage crew.
First down to the 47-yard line. Porter again. 4 more yards. Elijah Rice with still another stop. Boy, number 11 has been active. The linebacker for the Colts. There he is, again, a former defensive back. He should applaud. Take a bow, Elijah.
He's got a tall order to try to stop Miles Porter. And the biggest change we've seen from Miles Porter from last year to this year, I believe, is the strength. And John Aponte confirmed that by saying he lived in the weight room all summer.
Villarreal. To bring up 3rd down, they'll still need about 3 or 4 yards.
I have to give credit to the Carson front. Early in the game, they were getting blown off the ball, but they seem to have recovered, and they're starting to make this a contest at the line of scrimmage.
Moala's going to come in on offense. Sultan Moala, who's rushed for 5 touchdowns. He had 3 TDs in their big victory over Garfield. So let's see if they get 5 into this play. See if he occupies the ball.
They also have big number 9, Jose Lopez, leading the way.
And it is Moala, and Rice has him. Elijah Rice got in the backfield in a hurry.
And he's not beating them with size, or he's not beating them with power. He's beating them with speed and football intelligence. Look how quickly he gets through there. That's an outstanding play for an undersized man playing in the trenches.
Really, you have to credit this Colt defense. Really good since the first 6 minutes when they were hit with the 2 quick touchdowns. It's 4th down and 4, and no guarantee that Banning will punt. We saw Fernando Corona struggle with his first punt. So that offense stays out there, and they're going to go for it. 4th down and 4, big play. Porter lobbing downfield. He's got a receiver wide open. The Banning Pilots with a huge play. Robert Terrasas, known for playing defense, comes in and makes a huge catch.
How do you surprise someone? You throw the defensive and the ball. You think it's just going to be a run, but they trick you with the play action. They send everybody going to the left and roll Terrasas out to the right. He is so wide open. He could almost fair catch this ball like it's a punt. Great design play, great call.
All the way down to the 25. Swing pass, Villarreal in space. Rice there to finally get him to the ground. It's Elijah Rice covering so much ground on defense.
Speed and great open field tackling. That's what he showed us right there on that play. And that's Joel Villarreal with the ball. That's no easy guy to bring down, and to do it by yourself in the open field is impressive work by Elijah Rice.
Pilots with a timeout as we duck inside of a minute to play in the half. Just 59 seconds remaining. You know, the Pilots would love to get a score before they go back into the locker room. Well, the city section, Narbonne's been the dominant team, winning the last couple city titles. They're still the top-ranked team. Hawkins with a tremendous group of skilled position athletes. Los Angeles, then Banning at number 4, and Dorsey. By the way, Dorsey and LA High played earlier today. The number 5 Dorsey Dons beat the Romans of Los Angeles Expected a close one, 21-20, rallying from behind. A big win for Mincy's Dorsey Dons, and we'll see Dorsey on the 22nd. We have that fabulous doubleheader. Dorsey in their rivalry game against Crenshaw. That's Saturday, October 22nd, and then we have Banning against San Pedro. So John Aponte's team will be back on our Spectrum game of the week on the 22nd. Big win for Dorsey to go to 4-2 and knock off an outstanding LA team. Porter to the air, looking for 6. That's some catch by Corona. Fernando Corona, his 6th touchdown of the year. Porter has that ability to drop it in over the top.
He throws a great deep ball, and in the red zone, you want to go to a tall receiver, and you see Fernando Corona is 6'3", and the DBs he's playing against don't have that same size. So Miles just lofts it up. Look at the concentration to pull that ball in while approaching the end line and get his feet in bounds.
Banning by 21-7, a point pending. Ramirez has it between the pipes. And Corona, 6, a very friendly number for him. That's his 6th receiving touchdown.
As a DB, you feel like the back of the end zone is an extra defender for you, so you don't have to play all the way to the back, but he left about a foot of space for Corona to make that play, and he squeezes it in there. An outstanding throw by Miles Porter and great focus by Corona to pull that in.
Yeah, they've lost 16 straight games to Carson, but Banning's making the plays on a homecoming night. Maybe that big screen television is the greatest attribute they have tonight.
And sometimes you just got to go see a highlight on the sideline to boost morale on the side. And I'd like to see Corona take a look at his own play right there. Receivers love that.
Well, you did that enough times, right?
Not really.
Come on, Greg.
Not really.
Greg Camarillo, high school all-star up north, Stanford,
Easy money,
NFL. You had your glory.
So here's a little-known secret. It was in my 3rd year in the NFL that I caught my first NFL touchdown, and somebody dug it up that I hadn't scored a touchdown since high school. And I was trying to hide that fact, but the last time I had scored before the NFL was a touchdown just like Fernando Corona right there, and I can tell you he has way more talent than I ever had.
Well, I don't know. Did pretty well getting to the National Football League. Here, it's Banning by that 15-point margin again. They don't want to kick it to Tyler Washington. Trying to kick it to the near side away from him. It's returned by Diego Vasquez. They will not kick it to Washington. That was a theme in the locker room that they were going to certainly kick it away from the outstanding return artist, Tyler Washington. Here comes Bellinger. Art, you have 53 seconds left. Do you want to go down the field, or are you content to just run out the clock and not make a mistake?
I'm going to do something safe to start it off, either a short pass, a draw, or a screen, just to see if we can get the offense rolling.
One big play, the 49-yard touchdown to Brian Keskes from Bellinger. Looking to set up the screen. That's safe, but it's incomplete. Good call, just not executed well enough, and it's 2nd and 10.
It looks like D coordinator Raymond Grajeda was thinking the same thoughts as me, and he had his boys ready to tackle that right there.
Well, there's their big play guy, Tyler Washington. Tremendous speed. His dad, Lenny, is the quarterback's coach at Carson. His uncle, Al, was a great quarterback at Carson as well and was the 1982 City Player of the Year. Down to 47 seconds left before the half. They run with Lutu, and Moala can't bring him down. And Malcolm Lutu showing some power to pick up 5 yards. Sal Ropati made the stop, but when you get away from Moala, you've done something.
Moala is an outstanding tackler, and so to be able to break through that right there, it shows me that you have strength.
Pilot is down, unfortunately.
I think it is Sultan Moala, which you never want to see as a coach. You just hope that, you know, he can take these 28 seconds and go into halftime and fix whatever the injury is so he can get back out on the field.
When you talk about Sultan Moala, that's like 3 players because he plays offense, defense, and he's great on specialty teams. So you really are concerned if you're Banning. He's an athlete that is superior amongst his peers. Don't want to lose him, so they'll take their time and make sure that the junior is okay. Sultan Moala, a guy who terrific in run support. Great range on the field and very tough. Hopefully he's okay.
Very few guys on Banning play both ways, but when you have the talent and playmaking ability that Sultan Moala has, you need to fit him in there. You find a way to put him in a position to make plays on both sides of the ball.
High energy guy is Moala, who already has an offer from Kentucky Christian, an interest from Washington State and Nevada. And again, he's but a junior. Right now we're concerned about his health, and hopefully he'll be okay. Another thing, he can play wildcat quarterback. We haven't seen that tonight, but he's capable of doing that, and he's done it during his career. There's Kevin McCall pacing the sideline. Got away from his team in the first couple minutes. They were quickly down 15, and they have settled down in the game. And now you see Sultan coming off, and good to see him run off the field. That's a great sight.
Great sight, and that's great sportsmanship right there for the opposing team to give him a pat on the helmet. Just happy to see him all right. You always want to play a team when they have their talent on the field. That's when competition is its highest, and that's when competitors are at their best. And don't forget that it's homecoming, which means an extended halftime. So that'll give Sultan Moala a little extra time to try to get back to 100%.
Yeah, you really like the fact that he's walking around on the sideline, and you get the sense that he will be back for the second half. Clock running, as you can see. Bellinger looking for one big play to the sideline, no good.
Was a risky one big play right there.
Well, he wanted Tyler Washington, but there was excellent coverage in the secondary, and we've seen that throughout the night from Banning. 4th down and 6. Carson will punt it away in the waning seconds of the opening half. With Greg Camarillo, my name is Randy Rosenblum. We are thrilled you're with us on our Spectrum Sportsnet Game of the Week. Delgadillo with the punt. So Banning will have a few seconds, try to get something going offensively, but they have to be thrilled as Miles Porter is going to put that helmet back on and lace himself up and get ready for battle with their 22-7 lead.
They are used to building leads and playing with leads, so this is where they are comfortable. And to be at a home environment with an excited homecoming crowd and to be up 22-7 going in a half is exactly the blueprint you're looking for when you're trying to win a game.
Well, you look at them, and they're not spectacular in what they do, but they execute well. They're aggressive defensively, and they have a very good running game. And I think lost in all of that ground and pound is how Porter can hit you over the top. That's the element that really makes that offense a lot better than most people think. So you can see why they've averaged 39 a game throughout the first half of the season. Porter's going to take the knee. He's not only going to take a knee, he's going to take a lead into halftime. And the Banning Pilots are halfway home to their 6th straight win to begin the season. The Colts will try to rally at the break. And that one long 49-yard touchdown from Bellinger to Keskes. Other than that, it was Banning. Villarreal got a touchdown run. Their defense performed well, got takeaways. Boy, they were opportunistic in that first half. And Porter, how about Terrasses, the big fellow, making a catch? Banning at the break has a 15-point lead. And yes, Fernando Corona got in the act. We promised fireworks, and there they are. Been a wonderful halftime show extended here on homecoming. For the Banning faithful, we've got the king and the queen. Beautiful sight. And the king, got to be smiling. That's Bruno Tovar, who's a defensive end on the football team.
Little different headgear that he wears at halftime than he wears during the game.
Well, he's king for the night. See the tremendous throng on hand here. Chris Ferragamo Field, and the band finally coming off the field. They really entertained the faithful. Lovely night. We've had great weather this season for the games. Hard to believe, Greg, we're already at the midway season point. I mean, it's gone so fast. Again, Narbonne looks to have a fabulous team. They're winning again big over Gardena. They're going to win and tie the school record. 19 straight on. It's one Marine League game here. Kevin McCall really trying to light a fire for his group. He doesn't have a lot of athletes, but they play hard for him. I do want to give a shout out to the Grant Lancers. Grant High School plays with just 20 players. And they're on their way tonight. They're blitzing our lead. It looks like Grant's the class of the East Valley League. And they're about to go 7-0. They have a great quarterback in Cameron Perry, another dual threat guy. He's like 160 pounds soaking wet, but he can really get it done. So a shout out to that fine football team at Grant High School. They're doing a great job in the San Fernando Valley. There's Porter. He was very good in that first half, wasn't he?
He was, and not just throwing the ball. We saw some nice deep passes, but he also was key in running the ball. And his aggressive, strong running attack allows for extra yards, and it picked up some key first downs.
There's how much, if you're Banning, you think about, we haven't beaten this team for 16 years. They've lost 16 straight. As Bellinger warms up, they all know that Carson has that ability to come back. They've rallied in games against Southeast. A great rally against a good Westchester Comet team in a thrilling 41-40 victory for the Colts. How much is in the head of Banning, or is that forgotten by now? Because they've got a 15-point lead and they feel good on their home field.
It's always in the back of their head just a little bit, but this is a team that's used to playing from the front. You know, they've had some big leads and they've held on to some big leads. And you flip that to the other side with the Carson team, and this is a Carson team that's seen adversity, and they've responded to adversity. And I think that's a key component for a football team, is how they react when things aren't going their way.
You know, if Carson's going to come back, they obviously have to find number 8, Brian Keskes, who really impressed us in the first half. He had that 49-yard touchdown, the only score for the Colts on the deep post. Let's take a look at some of the work done by Keskes in that opening half.
So there's different components to being a receiver. Brian Keskes shows us that he has the ability to go deep. He has the speed to go deep. He shows us crisp route running with this nice slant right here to pick up a key first down. And he also shows us that he can catch the ball in traffic. And so I know Jaja Bellinger trusts Brian Keskes with the way he's delivering the ball to him.
Sure-handed guy, too. If it's in the area code, he's going to make the grab. What a future for Bellinger. Again, he's only 15 years of age. He's a very confident guy. And, you know, he's brought his team back a couple times. And even though he's 15, you get that sense he's not concerned on the sideline. He's going to come out there and do his best to get his Colts back out in front.
He's 15 years old. He can't legally have a driver's license, but he has the keys to this offense, and he can take them up and down the field. And Coach complimented.
Wait a minute. He can't drive, but he can create drives.
Exactly. Well done. The ability to stay in the pocket, deliver the ball, to roll out of the pocket and deliver the ball is very impressive, and that's something hard for a young quarterback to do. And I asked Coach McCall, what is the one thing you'd like to see him improve over the time, being that he's only a sophomore? And he said, I'd like to see him take off and run the ball on his own, which to me shows me that his maturity, because a lot of quarterbacks will do that when they get flustered. But for him to have the confidence to sit in the pocket and be that pocket passer means that the foundation is there, and it leads to a bright future in the upcoming years for him.
Carson Colts, they have just stood for excellence throughout the years, not only in the Marine League, but in the city section. Banning the same way. Their fans, this community here embraces this program, this school. I mean, it's a big ticket item around the neighborhood in Wilmington. The game was sold out. Certainly Banning's allotment of tickets were gone by yesterday. They're trying to eat up the rest that Carson was allotted. There's a lot of folks here, and they are thrilled with the Banning program, and that it's coming back because it is a storied program with great history.
It is coming back, and a lot of that is due to the culture that John Aponte has created here. And he asked him, how do you make those changes, coming in as a coach and trying to turn a team around? And he said, one, you get good people, not just good players, but good people. You get good coaches, and you get them to believe. And that sounds great, but I asked him, how do you get your players to believe? And he said, if you truly believe they can do it, then they'll believe that they can do it. And we've seen that this year. They're 5-0, and they're off to a great start here tonight.
Very approachable is John Aponte. As we mentioned, can be a fiery guy on the sideline. Very emotional. There's the orchestrator of the offense who's been very good in this game. Miles Porter, the 5'11", 220-pound senior. Accurate thrower, and you can underscore that. His ability to get the ball vertical down the field has been one of the underlining factors of this game.
Coach said one of the biggest changes that he's seen from Miles Porter is that he's making smart, safe decisions with the ball. Now, he has 8 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, but some of those interceptions are the ones that I like to put an asterisk next to that are tipped passes. So he's making smart plays, and he's really controlling the offense and not putting them in bad situations.
Well, Ramirez has it teed up. Brian Ramirez, senior kicker and wide receiver. Diego Vasquez is back deep, along with Tyler Washington. Colts trailing by 15. Have the football to begin the third quarter. Kick it away from Washington and out of bounds.
It's a penalty. It gives them good field position, but what it does is it keeps the ball out of Tyler Washington's hands. So it's worth it to give them a few extra yards on a penalty than to give a phenomenal kick returner the chance at scoring a touchdown.
They kicked it to that man, Diego Vasquez, his side of the field. They weren't even going to put the ball on Washington's side of the field.
Normally when you have one outstanding returner, you kick away from him to the other returner. But we've seen the ability from the other playmakers on the team, so they're just avoiding everybody in general.
Well, when you have a great kick returner, they're going to make him do it again. They'll back him up to 5 yards. And they'll have to kick it again to the Colts.
The interesting thing is I don't see any change to how they're guarding the onside kick. We've seen it twice here tonight. You think there would be an extra person over there, but I haven't seen an additional person protecting that extra 10-yard space.
Well, they were successful 1 out of 2. Terrific percentage on onside kicks. Ramirez to try it again. Don't think he would onside kick it from his 35. So he kicks it again. That pooch kick to the sideline. Vasquez coming across the field, has the 40 and out to the 43-yard line. Nice return. Ja'Cory Moe with the tackle.
Vasquez shows us that speed getting across the field, and this is the type of field position you need when you're trying to play from behind. You get to start your offense at the 44-yard line. It's not that far to go to get some points on the board.
By the way, I didn't say this earlier, but Jaja Bellinger, that quarterback's coming in for Kevin McCall. Jaja Bellinger, number 2, is a fabulous shortstop in baseball. And as good as he is in football, perhaps down the road at the next level, perhaps even beyond that, Bellinger, a gifted baseball performer. A lot of movement, and flags are out.
Dead ball, false start, offense, 67, 5 yards, first down.
False start against the Colts. 67 is Isaiah Nico, the left tackle. 6'2" and 345 pounds. One of the leaders up front. Maldonado hit in his backfield by Sal Ropati. Case closed.
They're actually overloading the left side of the defensive line, relying on Sal Ropati to handle the right side on his own, and he delivers.
Veteran player is Sal. Slowed by that foot injury, but he's been performing well tonight. early action from the third quarter. The Colts looking at 2nd and 17. Bellinger protected well, and he has a strike. There's that man again, Brian Keskes, and finally wrestled to the ground with a first down. Boy, he does run the precise patterns and has those very good hands.
A very nice corner route, and he has versatility. He lines up inside again at a tight end spot, and he runs a defined, crisp route, which allows Jaja Bellinger to know where he's going and put the ball right on the money.
This would be huge for Carson if they could come down the field and get a score early in the third quarter. Put some pressure on Banning. Carson's been playing from the rears all night. So in the first minute and change, the Colts are on the move. Third quarter action. Maldonado had a little bit of a crease. It closed in a hurry. Jimmy Langford Mayale with the stop.
See the guard there, Jensen Misa-Lafua, pushing the defensive lineman inside and creating that gap for Tyus Maldonado to get those yards.
Good run on first down. Second down and a short 5. See if Carson tries the power game. And they do. Brute strength of Malcolm Lutu gets that tough yardage inside.
And I take that back. They move Zion Scott over there to the left guard, and they're running behind him. And you see this power of the 6'2", 275-pound man creating the lanes for the running back.
Zion Scott, the right tackle, getting interest from New Mexico and others. Good enough for a first down on that Lutu run. That's what he's done on the season. This is a drive that Carson needs to finish. Again, their offense very capable, very explosive. Bellinger taking to the air. Got his man, Keskes. Touchdown. Second one of the night for Brian Keskes. Perfect delivery from Jaja Bellinger.
We're starting to see the Brian Keskes show. I don't know if they've thrown an incompletion to him. Something I love from receivers is the completion percentage. When the quarterback comes your way, can you make a play? Keskes has delivered over and over tonight.
I loved his patience as a receiver. That ball was thrown a little bit behind him. And again, he's got the great hands. When it's in the area, he's going to make the grab. Delgadillo, it was a low snap, and because of that, it's a miss, and that's a big miss. It's a 9-point difference. It's a 2-score game. But Carson has found something. It's the Jaja Bellinger to Brian Keskes show. Look at these hands. That is sweet. It was an impressive drive. 2 minutes, 17 seconds. They get it in the end zone to number 8, Brian Keskes. Huge miss on the PAT. Now they're 9 down, so they need 2 scores. That's good for 32. His other touchdown was 49. Great evening for Brian Keskes. Delgadillo to advance on the ball. See if Banning can respond. Their first opportunity in the third quarter, and there's one into the end zone. And it's a touchback. Expected to see that. It's the first time Augustin Delgadillo got it into the end zone. So Banning will start from its 20. It'll be a longer field, and here comes Miles Porter, who was so good in that first half, getting the ball down the field, threading the ball to his receivers. Good football game of the Marine League opener. These are two teams that figure to get to the playoffs. Really, you're talking about seeding when you win games in the Marine League. Villarreal has an opening, and he can scoot down that sideline. Rosser finally chases him out of bounds, and Joe Villarreal, his biggest gain of the night.
Outstanding vision from Joel Villarreal. We see him hit the gap. Number 4, Joseph Torres jumps outside. So Villarreal cuts it back in, but then has the smarts to break it back to the outside to pick up the extra yards.
From the 50-yard line, they take to the air. Villarreal hemmed in. Ball's on the ground. They ripped it away from him. See if Carson got it back. It's aggressive defense trying to dislodge the pigskin, and it looks like they have it. So that Carson defense creates a turnover.
Looks like Jeremy Washington made a big play right there. And Malcolm Lutu rips the ball out as he's bringing him down, and that is exactly how you get momentum on your side. You score, you get a turnover, and everything starts falling into place to mount a comeback.
The third quarter is starting for Carson, how the first quarter began for Banning.
If we had instant replay at the high school level, I don't know if that fumble would have held, but since we don't have that here on the field, Carson is taking off with the ball.
Malcolm Lutu, who created that turnover on offense as well. So they start from the 50-yard line. Not much there on the inside between the tackles. Langford Mayale, number 2's been imposing on defense. Physical run stopper.
And a physical runner. We've seen him on the other side of the ball, moving piles and getting into the end zone.
Yeah, he's a transfer from Sarah Gardena. 2nd down and 9. Maldonado, he nearly coughed it up. He was juggling that ball as he went into the line, following the block of Raul Agpau. 3rd down and long.
Can't give enough credit to the Banning defensive line for holding their own despite being undersized compared to the Carson offense. They have done a great job of just staying put and not letting the bigger offensive linemen push them back.
We'll see if Bellinger can find his buddy Brian Keskes on 3rd and long. Ball's thrown behind him, but Keskes makes the grab. Appears to be about a half a yard shy of the 1st down, but this guy has phenomenal hands.
Everybody knows when you're looking for a play, you're going to Brian Keskes. They actually bring a safety over there and double team him. That's who makes the tackle, but the precision in the route and the precision of delivering the ball allows that to be made. He throws the ball behind him, which actually helps out Keskes and gets him safe away from the hit.
4th down and just under a yard to go. Bellinger trying to bait that team offside. Quarterback keep. I think there was enough there for the 1st down. Should keep the drive going. Jaja Bellinger.
Just barrel forward. When you only need an yard, just take that snap and barrel forward, and he got the 1st down.
And again, I can't emphasize it enough. Carson has come from behind twice this year, so they know they're fully capable. Still plenty of time. Still better than 7 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Carson was down 22-7 at halftime. They got 1 touchdown. They're looking for more here in the 3rd quarter. Back to the ground game, and it's stalled. No running room at all for Maldonado.
Jose Lopez got in there to cause disruption and allowed 51 Rapati to clean it up and make the tackle.
Well, it's a balanced 3rd quarter attack from Carson on the ground and in the air. When you say in the air, it's really been a solo act to Brian Keskes. Now, Joseph Bryson's made some big catches this year. So has Anthony Henderson and certainly Tyler Washington. But it's been Keskes who's been the go-to guy. Reverse. Washington just tripped up. And it was Jimmy Langford Mayale who may have saved a touchdown. That was set up beautifully. Tyler Washington, they finally get him the ball.
They do, and it's actually Robert Terrazas who stays home. He's in position, which makes Washington cut it back to the rest of the defense. You hope that the defensive end gets suckered in and you can get around him, but a great job of Terrazas by staying home and being alert for the reverse.
Well, there's Langford Mayale, who's made so many tackles. 3rd down and 7. That picked up 4 yards. It could have been much more than that. Bellinger back to the air, incomplete. Keskes went up for it, battling with Daniel Ruelas, the senior lockdown cornerback who used his speed to close in a hurry.
They're actually challenging Ruelas right here without safety help, and he does a great job of breaking on the short route. We've seen Keskes go deep. We haven't seen the 5-yard hitch route. Credit to Ruelas for staying on top of that.
4th down and 7. Big play. 5.5 minutes left, third quarter. Banning on defense, protecting a 9-point lead.
Keep an eye on Keskes, manned up.
4th and 7, the Bellinger pump fake. No good, but there's a flag out. And he wanted Keskes, but keep in mind there's a marker on the field.
We saw the hitch on the last play. They faked the hitch and go. Ruelas bid on it, and actually a smart play here to reach out and give him a grab. Instead of giving up a touchdown, a great fake route. Instead of giving up that touchdown, let's just take the penalty and keep him out of the end zone, although it does give him a key 4th down conversion, and it keeps Carson's offense alive.
Defensive pass
Keskes to the
interference.
sideline.
Number 8,
Interference
15
is
yards,
so indicated.
first down.
Keskes needs a breather. He's been out there on every pattern.
He's working. They're putting him to work, but he's keeping the Carson offense alive. When you need a big play, you go to your playmakers, and Keskes has shown us that he is the playmaker for the Carson offense.
The Colts are coming down the field, trying to make this game very interesting. Lutu is hammered. Jimmy Langford Mayale, number 2, is playing a tremendous game. His brother KJ on the football team as well, but Jimmy Langford Mayale has been tremendous on defense tonight. He has a short touchdown run on offense. 7 minutes into this third quarter. It's been owned by the Colts. They put it on the ground. Still loose. Remember, Carson fumbled 6 times last week, and they turn it over here.
Randy, there's a reason that linemen don't hold the ball. And they tried to trick us by giving the ball to Jensen Nisalafua, and it's just not what he does. He's not used to running the ball, and the handoff was awkward, and it just didn't work out. The ball's rolling around on the ground, and Banning comes up big. This is the lineman back there. They're just not used to taking handoffs. They don't practice that every day. And credit to Banning for jumping on that play and hustling to get the turnover.
Yeah, James Dempsey, the outstanding linebacker, recovered it. And for Kevin McCall, his Colts are down 9. The 3 turnovers have been costly, and they've had opportunities. They could have taken the lead by now in this game. Give Banning credit, getting critical stops when it looked like Carson would overhaul them. Still plenty of time to go.
Ponte is calling in an audible from the sideline.
Porter buying time. Wobbler downfield, but he has Corona. Fernando Corona, a first down to the 48 of the Colts.
Here's a big surprise. We've got some flags in the backfield.
Yeah, the flag is behind the play.
So we saw Aponte call in an audible, and I believe it was because he saw man-to-man coverage on Corona, and they tried to go deep.
76.
And it's Banning retreating. This one's coming back.
Holding offense, number 76.
Penalties that hurt.
10 yards.
Big completion. You're
Second
moving
down.
the ball 15, 20 yards in one direction, and then everybody has to slowly walk back, and it comes back to 1st and 20. So you go from such a positive play to digging yourself into a hole at 1st and 20.
Look at that. He wipes out a big pitch and catch from Porter to Corona. Villarreal with a nice dance step, but that hole closed in a hurry. And the Colts, Jeremy Washington with another tackle, along with Oliver Fagan. Carson defense a little bit more confident. Jeremy a little bit slow to get up. Number 18 has had a good game for Carson. But I like what the Colts are doing defensively. They're much more aggressive since early in the game when they gave up a quick 15.
They are, and they're doing it up front. You know, the first drive, they got blown back, but they got it together. They recomposed themselves, and now they're putting up a fight in the trenches.
Kevin McCall, who was a terrific running back in his heyday at Carson High School. Done a nice job, had the Colts in the city finals a couple years ago, and they ran into a very good Narbonne team and lost in the Coliseum. Here's Porter running upfield. Miles Porter. It was a 2nd and 18 call, so it'll bring up 3rd and long. Boy, Porter's been very involved in their attack, both running it and throwing it.
The 3rd and long situation, you gotta throw the ball, you would think, and you would want to go to your playmaker. Fernando Corona has shown us that ability to make plays, and it appears like he's going to get one-on-one coverage.
Daniel Hernandez on the outside is very good as well. Made some big catches in the first half, has 30 receptions this year. Perhaps he'll be targeted. Another flag. Officials will confer. Well, Narbonne tonight beating Gardena. It's their 19th straight win, and I can't emphasize enough that ties the school record.
Ball, encroachment, defense.
Still bring up a 3rd down, but much more manageable.
And when you go from 3rd and 10 in almost a must-pass situation, you go to 3rd and 5, and so many more plays are available to your offense.
Especially when you have the versatility of Miles Porter. Taking to the air to Corona.
And they're going with this mismatch. You have Fernando Corona, who's listed at 6'3", and you've got a cornerback, number 13, Porter, listed at 5'6", and he's playing man-to-man coverage. That's a situation where I'm going to go back to it until they start bringing a safety over to help the shorter cornerback.
Corona got the 1st down out to the 42, so a key conversion for Banning. Every time they've been challenged by the Colts, they've responded tonight. Now they run inside, and Villarreal has no running room at all. Wrestled down once again by Angelo Suyanoa. Suyanoa is a man inside.
And a great motor. He missed the first tackle, but got right back to it and completed the play and made a tackle.
2nd down and 10. Tough to move him out of there. Porter protected well, pass to Corona too high. And he was available.
He was available and had number 4, Joseph Torres, a linebacker, chasing him across the field, and that is a winning situation as a receiver, so you would like to see him complete that and get some yards.
3rd down and 10 for Miles Porter. He has a little bit more diversification in his receivers with Corona, Hernandez, and Gomez. The Colts, we've seen almost exclusively the aerial attack to Brian Keskes. So where will the ball go for Miles Porter on 3rd and long? Moving pocket. Lobbing it deep for Hernandez, incomplete. Rice with terrific coverage.
Looked like he actually might have had Angel Mendez coming open on a corner route, but he decides to go with Daniel Hernandez, and it's a tough play to make with the DBs draped all over him. You see great coverage there from Elijah Rice. That's a linebacker running with a wide receiver. That shows you what kind of athleticism he's playing with.
But again, he was a former defensive back, and you see a lot of that nowadays with players starting in the secondary. Move them up to the linebacker speed. Coaches talk about it all the time. They want to bring speed to the defense against all these wide open offenses. It doesn't appear to me, Greg, that the tempo of Banning is bothering Carson at all.
No, they're used to a nice slow game, and that's what they're getting. Except for the first few drives, they've played a nice slow tempo, and that favors Carson.
Corona with a better punt, and a fair catch is called for and taken by Diego Vasquez. Well, the Colts have it back. They've cut that deficit to 22-13. They're going to have a bit of a long field when we come back. But Jaja's coming back right after this. Colts football down by 9. The Pilots sideline. A little bit concerned. They've been in some tough battles, but they're all huddled around that television set. Boy, it is the age of the big screen TV, isn't it? They're still whooping it up here. Homecoming. Carson back by 9, starting from their 20-yard line. Terrific penetration. Maldonado never had a chance. The linebacker shooting the gap. Mark Tuafuli.
He just dominating Fagan right there and just getting into the backfield, giving Tyus Maldonado no opportunity to get any yards. It's just a disruptive backfield by Tuafuli there.
Yeah, he's the transfer from Carson. Plays downhill on defense, and you love a linebacker that's that fast. We've mentioned Rice with his defensive coverage from the linebacking spot for Carson. Well, Tuafuli gives you great speed from the middle linebacker position for Banning. Second and a dozen. Bellinger under the gun again. Has no chance. Rapati got to him.
On every pass play, we've seen them go to Keskis. He lined up as a tight end where we've seen him attack the defense. He actually releases into a second level where a safety has eyes on him and a corner has eyes on him. And Jaja Bellinger had eyes on him but had nowhere to go. It was a coverage sack right there.
What's that song? I only have eyes for you. And right now Rapati only has eyes for Bellinger. Final half minute of the third quarter. It's been a good one for Carson, although they're behind the sticks here. Third down and very long. Looking to set up the screen into traffic. That was dangerous. That was so dangerous, trying to get it to Tyler Washington, and Bellinger's going to go to the sideline and they're going to relinquish the football.
Rapati was not fooled. He had eyes for Bellinger, just like you said, and he had eyes for that screen too, and he was all over it.
You know, it's a warm night where the head coach is wearing shorts, and it is warm. Out here late in the afternoon, it was in the 90s. Well, probably in the 70s. It's very pleasant in Wilmington. It's not pleasant for the Colts as they have to punt it away. It's an effective kick by Delgadillo, but good field position for Banning. They're looking for a score to ice the game. I would think if they could get a touchdown and a PAT, I don't know if it would quite ice it, but it would put them in a very good position to go to 6-0 as Miles Porter's trotting back on, walking back on. He's just all over the field tonight.
When I talked to Coach McCall this week, I asked him what are the things that he stresses for his team. And one of his first responses was that I stress playing for 4 quarters. And we've seen that they've been in close games, but if you are practicing that day in, day out, and that's your mentality, your team's not going to back down in the fourth quarter. So I expect Carson to put up a good fight.
Final second. Final play of the third quarter is a Villarreal run. Doesn't go very far. There is a flag down as Angelo Suyanoa makes another stop.
Almost like a broken record when you say there's another flag on the play.
Oh, a lot of emotion here in this battle. It's been the one area that Banning's going to need to clean up.
We're going to take him back 10.
See that coach a little disturbed by the execution. Not happy with it. That wry smile.
Holding, offense, number 50. 10 yards, first down.
That's Juan Real. First game playing for Banning. Still another transfer. He had that sit-out period after transferring from Carson. He had to sit out until October. Ticketed for that foul.
That's a tough one when you're playing against your former school. And it's probably just because he's excited to be out there. He wants to give that a little extra effort. But that extra effort has to come with technique, and you got to keep your hands inside, and you got to keep from grabbing the opponent's jersey.
One on time down. Let's go.
Charles Davis says, and he does it correctly, one untimed down. This will be the final play of the quarter unless there's another foul. See what Porter can do to create for Banning. Run near side. And Moala again. Coming up big. Jimmy Langford Maale. So Maale has been very good on offense and defense tonight for the Banning Pilots. Pilots saw Carson come back in the third quarter on another touchdown reception for Brian Keskes. But it's the Pilots that lead by 9 heading to the fourth quarter. Banning on the move as we begin the fourth quarter. Villarreal, not a whole lot there in the middle of that defensive front. Charging through to make the stop was Malik Jackson. Well, Villarreal's had a good game. He's got a touchdown. He's just a consistent chap. Every game he's going to get you close to 100 or maybe even better than that. Always seems to find the end zone. Got 11 touchdowns this year. Just a really quality football player. Porter finds a lane. Takes it inside the 30-yard line. Jeremy Washington, good to see him back. He was shaken up earlier, made the stop.
They used a little misdirection to buy some space for Miles Porter. They faked 2 handoffs to try to confuse the defense, and that made enough room for Miles Porter to get a nice pickup there.
Ken Banning's lost 16 straight games. Speaking of lost, it looks like Porter's about to lose his pants. Have to bring those back up. We don't want to see that sight. But they want to snap that 16-game losing streak. 3rd down and 1. Jimmy Langford Maale. No, I don't think he got there. I think it's 4th down.
And Elijah Rice shows up again. We talked about his athleticism overcoming his size. And he just shoots right through the gap. Makes the play in the backfield. That is a huge play.
4th down, and he lost yardage. It's 4th down and 3. And Miles Porter and company are back out there with a different group of athletes. 5 or 6 different players coming into that new grouping, including Jimmy Langford Maale. 4th down play, and Carson needs a stop. Banning calls timeout. They brought in so many different athletes. Got that timeout called before the flag. They were confused.
Talked to Coach McCall about his defensive philosophy, and he said that we have a bend, don't break defense. And I said, what do you mean by that, Coach? He said that sometimes they give up yards in the open field, but when they come back to the red zone, that's where they hunker down and try to prevent the team from getting in there. They don't mind giving up the yards so long as they don't give up the points.
If Banning wins, they'll next take on George Washington. Washington Prep on the road. They're an improved football team, but Banning will be favored there. That'll be a great game against San Pedro. If they hold on here, I would figure that we would have Banning and San Pedro in our matchup in the Coliseum on Spectrum. With Banning being undefeated, San Pedro's only lost 1 game to this point. They'll be a heavy favorite against Gardena. Then circle that 11-4 date as Narbonne comes to town, and they figure to be undefeated when they get here. It would be surprising if they're not. How about that? That could be 2 undefeated teams. 4th down and 3. Porter going over the top again for Hernandez, who's out there. stretching to the goal line. Just shy, but it's first and goal. How about that throw again from Miles Porter? There is a marker down.
So when you have a man-to-man defense, you like to create rubs, kind of like picks in basketball. Number 11, Leo Gomez, comes in there to unintentionally block the man covering Daniel Hernandez, and he gets flagged for offensive pass interference is what I'm assuming.
You got it. Can't get it by Greg Camarillo. That hurts Aponte's team, but it's a huge turnaround that really helps the Carson Colts.
So the scheme is just to get in the way of the defender of the other receiver. You can't intentionally bump into him. And although the cell is there with the hands up looking
number
for...
11, 15 yards, still 4th down.
Coach is arguing that he had his hands out looking for the ball, but it's that contact that he makes that calls the penalty.
I'm still impressed, though, with Miles Porter. The way he drops it in up with air under it. Monte's not thrilled with that call. Remember we said he was emotional. Now it's 4th down and very long. Now do you send the punting unit out there?
Coach wants to have a word with the ref before he sends the punter out there, but in my years of playing football, I've never seen a call reversed based on the coach putting in his 2 cents.
Miles Porter still wants to go for it against his former teammates. It's 4th and 18. That's a big ask.
Sometimes in these situations, you'll just throw the ball deep. 1, hoping for a completion and a first down, or 2, hoping that they pick it off 20 yards down the field and it's as good as a short punt.
Well, again, Fernando Corona has struggled with his punting. So it appears that on 4th and 18, Pilots are going to go for it.
He's got man coverage down here at the bottom.
Porter again throwing deep for Hernandez, who again is out there. Just tripped up, or it would have been a touchdown. Daniel Hernandez. Sylvester saved the touchdown.
And they did just like we were talking about. They're just going to throw one deep and hope good things happen. Daniel Hernandez makes a great play, and Sylvester diving saves the touchdown, keeping the defensive alive to see if they can keep him out of the end zone.
How about they needed 18 on 4th down? We got a whole lot more than that. 1st and goal, Pilots. Now there's some vim and vigor in their step. To the outside, walk-in touchdown for Jimmy Langford Maale, his 2nd TD run of the night. 28-13 Manning.
Bring the big fellas in and follow the big fellas into the end zone. It's worked for him multiple times for tonight.
Jimmy, fabulous two-way player here at Manning. Ramirez for the point after. 9:20 to play. Carson's going to need 2 touchdowns plus to catch up now.
And they're going to need an extra player on the field. So Joel Villarreal is their main running back. And normally the main running back gets the touchdowns in short yardage situations, but coach tells me that he's such a humble guy that he loves to see his teammates score a touchdown. So he'll get them down the field, but he gets enjoyment out of watching other people succeed as well, and that tells me a lot about his character.
Offense, 5 yards, still 1 on time down. Yeah.
You bring in 99 Lopez and you just follow his lead into the end zone. That's a big body and a good blocker, and it's working for them. That's what they're going to do in short yardage situations.
PAT attempt now for Ramirez is 25 yards. Got good lift on this one, and he made it. Well, guess what? Banning has a 16-point lead. Guess what? They've lost 16 straight. That could change tonight.
Witness history.
Pilots convert a 4th and 18. Once they did that, and that 1st and goal, able to take it into the end zone with big number 2, Jimmy Langford Maale. And it's going to be tough after the 5-yard touchdown run from Jimmy for Carson, but they need 2 touchdowns and 2 two-point conversions to draw even. Carson, again, has a lot of firepower. We all know they have that lethal combination of Jaja Bellinger to Brian Keskes. But for the moment, number 2, Jimmy Langford Maale's had a huge imprint on this game.
You're down 16 with 9 minutes left in the 4th quarter. If I'm running an offense at this time, I start pulling back from the run and I start throwing the ball deep to try to create some big chunk plays to get my team back in the game.
Onside kick, and it's recovered by Carson, and that gives them good field position. Porter fell on the ball. So an opportunity for the Colts after that big play. Let's check out that 4th down and one-on-one coverage, and Hernandez beat him.
Games come down to 1 or 2 plays, and it's 4th and 18, and there's no deep safety. That's just hard for me to understand. You'd like to see 1, if not 2 deep safeties, and Banning takes advantage of that, throws the ball deep, and makes them pay for not having a safety back there.
How about an onside kick with a 16-point lead? Now you give Carson field position at the 47-yard line of Banning. Colts need to finish drives. They've moved it at times. That one's tipped and incomplete. Intended for Tyler Washington.
You talked about Jimmy Langford Maale as a runner. We talked about him making tackles. He's back there in coverage. He's all over the field. I like how Jaja stands in the pocket and delivers the ball, but the coverage is just too good. They try to sneak it in between the zone. Langford Maale is all over it.
Kevin McCall looking for a big play from his offense. See if they target number 8, Brian Keskes again. Over the middle. Got his target. It's not Keskes. It's Washington. It's the first time he's able to create in that secondary, Tyler Washington.
He's a playmaker with space. He's an athlete, and they give him a lot of cushion out there, afraid of the deep ball, and he just runs a simple slant and turns it into a big gain.
All the way down to the 27-yard line of Banning. And how many times have the Colts threatened? Been down there a lot tonight. 4 on the flanks for Bellinger. Throws it late. Very close to the line of scrimmage when he delivered the ball to Keskes. But there's no flag. He got it off before he got to the line. Let's take a look at this. How close was he to illegally throwing it?
Very close. But what I love about him as a quarterback is he's breaking away from the pocket, going on a run, and keeps his eyes downfield. That keeps the run alive, and that keeps every receiver alive. And that's just a huge amount of maturity for a young quarterback.
Colts desperately need a touchdown in this 4th quarter, down by 16. Ball thrown behind Washington.
Also another mature move from Bellinger. It looks like it was an errant throw, but he sees the blitz, knows pressure's coming, and tries to get rid of the ball early. Unfortunately, Tyler Washington was not on the same page.
McCall, who's also the offensive coordinator, gives the play to Bellinger. Well, that's going to be a good relationship for the next couple of years, with Jaja still have the rest of his sophomore year and 2 more seasons to work with Coach McCall.
So you know this is 4-down territory. Being down 16 late in the 4th, you've got 4 downs to pick it up.
Bellinger running to the 10, diving to the 7-yard line. There's that versatility, the ability to run the football from Jaja Bellinger. He has 2 rushing touchdowns this year. 8 minutes left. Carson with a must score. They're looking at 3rd down and short.
Exactly what Coach McCall wanted to see from his quarterback. He wants to see him take off when there's space there. And he did a great job of doing so. If you don't have a receiver open and you've got a lane, take advantage of it.
3rd and a short 3. Bellinger again throwing to the end zone. Is it a touchdown? Yes, it is. Reeled in beautifully by Henderson. Anthony Henderson. And the Colts are in business. The junior receiver.
Credit Jaja Bellinger for being able to keep the play alive and throw a risky pass, but Henderson comes up with a huge play to keep his team in the fight.
In that dramatic victory against Westchester, 41-40, Anthony Henderson caught a critical 37-yard touchdown. Well, they must go for 2, down by 10. Point conversion would make it a 1-score game.
They haven't had as much success running the ball as they had throwing the ball, so I wouldn't be surprised here if they, and they're showing it, they're spreading it out. I would guess they're going to throw the ball.
Bellinger throwing it up and incomplete, nearly picked off. You can bring it back. Fernandez had a lot of green in front of him. It was nearly 2 points back the other way for David Fernandez. Well, Bellinger gets his 3rd touchdown throw of the night to Anthony Henderson. The Colts back to within 10. Ten-point game. Banning getting the ball back. Delgadillo has it teed up, and the mascots are taking a breather.
They are, and Banning has their hands team out there just to make sure that there's no onside kick going on.
There's Joe Villarreal hoping to get it back. And they're going to kick it to him. Remember, Delgadillo normally reaches the end zone. He's going to field it at the 2, drops it, falls down, and that's where they're going to start from. A bad break for Villarreal and the Pilots, and a terrific break for Carson. Bannon's going to be 99 yards away from the opposing goal line.
That is a tough one for Villarreal. There's just so much space with the hands team out there that I'm sure he felt the guys running at him, and once the ball hits the ground, you just start freaking out, and he put the knee down, puts his team in a backed up situation.
Ponte just dying on the sideline over there. Every time you think Banning has this one wrapped up, Carson responds. So has Banning. It's been a back-and-forth game. The real bonus for Banning was that first few minutes where they just bolted to a 15-0 lead, and Carson's been trying to climb back in it. Porter taking to the air on first down. Some contact on a ball intended for Hernandez, and the fans and team pleading for a flag. Not going to get it. There was contact.
This is the same exact rub play that we saw earlier, except there's no penalty here, and Rashad Sylvester is not fooled this time. He is all over it.
Got away with it.
It seemed a bit uncatchable, and I think it was great defense. He had the position. He did get his hands on it, but he had the position in that situation.
Greg, you're supposed to take the wide receivers spot. Here's Villarreal going downfield. All the way out to the 29-yard line. A run of 28 yards for Joe Villarreal. So he comes up with a big run.
He was the one who made the error to put him in the backed up situation, and so he's the one who's going to get his team out of that situation. A nice solid run and a great job of cutting it back in to stay in bounds, and it keeps that clock ticking because the clock is on Banning's side at this point.
Yeah, Carson, they ripped one out of there and created a turnover. They're going to need to do it again. But Joe Villarreal, very talented, and normally clutches that football, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't turn it over. Giving ground, and this time he's wrestled down by Jeremy Washington.
Looks like Jeremy Washington might have got a grab of his face mask right there, but no flag, no penalty. Oh, I take that back. He got a bit of his shoulder pad. I apologize, Jeremy Washington. Outstanding play, my man.
Coach's comment on Washington, he pursues well. I'll say so. Second down, 13 for Porter. Banning wants first downs. The Colts need a 3 and out. They need the pigskin back. Porter running. has plenty of room. Miles Porter upfield. First down, and that's a huge pickup for the Banning offense and for quarterback Miles Porter.
This is a great scheme that John Aponte is putting out there. They put all 4 receivers within 3 yards of the end zone. So you've got 5 linemen and a fullback blocking a 6-man box. When the quarterback takes the ball himself, that frees up a blocker. It's 6 on 6, and that creates that big lane for Miles Porter.
Takes it all the way out to the 44-yard line. Miles Porter, with his arm and his legs, has done damage tonight to the Colts defense. Clock very much an ally of Banning. Villarreal into the secondary, cutting to the outside. First down yardage to the 39. Finally taken down by Anthony Henderson.
The linemen get you the 5 and 8 yard runs. The receivers can bounce you to 10 to 20 yard runs, and we see that there. They create a huge hole for Villarreal to get into, and then he sets up his receivers to create nice blocks, and he extends it, getting even more yardage.
Joe over 100 again. Villarreal every night he's going to get you 100 plus, and this is some drive that started from the Banning 1. They're eating up the clock. They've reached the Carson Colt 39. This is what you love about this team, the ability to run when the game's on the line. Washington with another tackle of Porter. Not only do you run the clock out, but you impose your will on the opposite sideline when you can run the ball like this.
Randy, you know I'm a Stanford grad, and this is what Stanford does best, is at the end of a game, they just break down the opponent.
Except against Washington.
Well, we're not going to talk about that.
Okay.
That got a little ugly.
See, you gave me an opening there.
And I'm sorry, you shut the door. But Banning is doing that. They've been wearing them down the entire game, and this is where it makes the biggest difference. When Carson needs a stop, Banning just continues to impose their will and keep the clock running.
Kevin McCall knows he's in trouble. Villarreal looking to get outside. Has a crease down to the 23-yard line. Ryan Rosser, the transfer from St. John Bosco, playing his first game with the stop.
I love the way he keeps his eyes up. You see he's reading the defense. Even when he gets past the first level, he already has his eyes on the second level, and that's what's allowing him to turn these 5 and 7 yard runs into bigger chunk plays that are moving the offense.
Banning is that close to going to 6-0 and snapping that ugly 16-game losing streak to Carson. Go all the way back to 2000. They won the city championship game against the Colts. That's the last time they defeated their rival. Langford Mayale again. Boy, he's a bruising running back.
It's the 1-2 punch of Villarreal and Mayale, and they run hard. And it's hard for a defense to get hit, get back up, get hit by another running back. They just keep bringing in fresh legs, and it's just overpowering the Carson defense.
You know, the negative is you're back at your 1 yard line, but it also gives you the whole field to traverse. And by doing that, the Pilots are eating up most of the remainder of the clock. You can see it down to 3:20 left. And a touchdown here, one would think, would seal the game for Banning. Porter caught from behind, and down he goes. Zion Scott.
You're not getting loose when Zion Scott gets a hold of you, that's for sure. So, Randy, a point about what you said about the 99 yards creating a situation where you can eat up time. Teams practice it, and it's called the 4-minute offense. But let's take a look at Zion Scott. He just blasts through the offensive line, and once he gets a hold of them, that strength brings down any runner. But so it's called the 4-minute offense because you figure at 4 minutes you can start running the clock out. They've been doing this for from the 7-minute mark about, and that just shows you the dominance that they're putting out there on the field.
Concern, though, for Porter, the quarterback. Looked like he was holding onto that left wrist. Clock moving inside of 3 minutes left.
If you ever need a situation to bring a backup quarterback in, this might be the situation. You're just going to hand the ball off. You've got the lead, and it's a good time to get some reps.
Antonio Velasquez is the backup. He's a junior quarterback. Hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities with Porter being so prevalent in the offense. And you're right, he's just going to simply hand it off. Villarreal. You know, we talk about a back and his vision. Villarreal has not only terrific vision, he has patience. He'll sit there and wait for the hole. That time he waited a little bit, then bolted to the outside. And here comes Porter. It's an encore for Miles Porter.
The thing I like most about this run is you're trying to run out the clock. So he gets as many yards as he can, pushes it back upfield so he stays in bounds. The clock is still running.
3rd down and 4. Porter back in with a tender left wrist. But he's showing toughness. Villarreal staying inside. So it is Banning that is about to finally beat Carson. And you know that Miles Porter, the former Carson Colt, who transferred here a couple of years ago, is going to stay on the football field and was going to come back on the field to enjoy this moment.
That shows us the toughness that he has. There's a minor injury, but he's been leading this team up and down the field, so it's good to see him back out there to finish the game with his team.
Colts with the timeout. Well, you know, Villarreal muffed the kickoff after Carson scored, but on this drive, number 33 has been very alive.
When you do something bad, you gotta. It's how you react that tells me about your character. Villarreal busts a huge run, backed up, and then he's just slowly carried this team all the way down the field, using his strength, his speed, his vision, and his running intelligence. He is everything you could want in a running back and in a teammate.
Well, you would think to get the touchdown, what a reward, number 33. 29-13. This is a typical Banning game. Got out to an early lead, and they play physical football. And they're able to run and control the clock. And really, to their credit, never threatened. Carson had opportunities, but just never could get over the top. Couldn't get past that hump.
If you watch the beginning of this game and the very end of this game, you would think that Banning dominated the entire thing. But Carson put up a great fight and responded well to the adversity, but they just didn't have enough to complete it here tonight.
4th down play. Of course, the Colts hoping to get it back one more time. Porter. Washington has him, and the ball goes over on downs. You know, Jeremy Washington's going to play hard.
We talked about his ability to pursue, and that's what he showed right there with Miles Porter. Is a very athletic quarterback. And we see that his left wrist is okay with the way he puts that stiff arm out there. But Jeremy Washington is not fooled and comes up with a large play for his team.
Still holding that wrist, though, and there's got to be some concern. By the way, Carson gets Narbonne next week, so that'll be tough for the Colts. Narbonne will be looking for their 20th win in a row and a new school record, and Carson will be coming off this loss. Although they had their moments tonight, especially that combination of Bellinger to Keskes. Keskes caught 2 of 3 touchdowns in the air from Jaja Bellinger. Another one going to Anthony Henderson.
And if they're going to compete with Narbonne, they're going to have to use this offense to put up some points and put the ball in the air, because we all know that Narbonne can score and score quickly.
Bellinger to the air. Another perfect strike to Brian Keskes. Takes 2 or 3 pilots to bring him down.
I like to see the fight in Brian Keskes. You know, some guys might give up in this situation, but he makes a tough catch over the middle. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It takes 6 guys to take him down, and that's just toughness that I like to see from a high school player.
Inside of a minute to play, and Bellinger incomplete for Henderson, and he took a pop from Fernandez in the deep secondary. Boy, when a receiver's exposed like that, that's tough.
Those ones hurt when you get popped like that, but they hurt a little less when you can reel in that catch. And we know he has that ability. We saw that big touchdown he scored earlier tonight.
Well, we'll see Banning down the road in the Coliseum on the 22nd on Spectrum Community. Looking forward to their battle with San Pedro. It's going to be a day game on a Saturday the 22nd after Dorsey and Crenshaw battle on our air. Bellinger rolling to his right. He'll just throw it away. Down to 38 seconds left. Third down and 10. Carson knows they're not going to win it. They're going to fall to 3-3, but it's a young, improving football team who I would label dangerous in the playoffs. Not a favorite. Certainly Banning, Narbonne, some of the big boys. Crenshaw, although Crenshaw is struggling a little bit with a tough schedule. Dorsey. This Carson team has talent. They will be a force down the road. But tonight, Banning's been too good. Bellinger finally runs out of time, and down he goes. Give the hit to Robert Terrasis.
And give the credit to the coverage. Bellinger buys himself time by rolling around, but there's just absolutely nowhere to go. Banning defense has been all over the receivers.
Fourth down, last gasp for the Colts. Bellinger, see if he can do something wild on this final play. And he just runs to the sideline. Well, Bellinger found safety on that near sideline. The Banning offense will come out. Porter should take one kneel down. How fitting is that for the former Colt? Again, Miles Porter said he played with too much emotion last year and he needed to control the emotion, and he was outplayed by Bellinger. This year, Miles Porter's been very solid, making the throws and big runs for the offense of the Banning Pilots.
Very poised while doing so. We didn't, even when the team had the tough moment and they faced adversity, we didn't see anything negative from Miles Porter. We just saw him respond by making plays, and that's what you would hope from a senior quarterback, especially one in such a big moment like this, playing against his former school, trying to end the 16-year drought.
This is going to do it. One kneel down, and Banning finally will overcome what has been a major obstacle for them, beating the Carson Colts. It'll be the first time that Kevin McCall has lost to Banning. He came in 3-0 as the head coach of Carson. Ponte's going to get his first win, obviously, against the Colts after that long winning streak from Carson. There's the kneel down for Porter. This one is over, and it's a great homecoming for Aponte and Banning, winning by 10, 29-19. 16 straight losses is now history. First win since December 9th, 2000. Greg Camarillo. Good football game and a hard-fought, physical win for Aponte and Banning.
I'd love to see the fight that Carson replied with. Banning got out to a huge start. Carson put up a good fight, but in the end, it was the dominance of the Banning offense, just being able to move the ball down the field and eat up the clock at their will.
Well, two teams that like one another, but they play physical football against one another. That's going to do it from Banning as our final score reads 29 for Banning, 19 for Carson. Thank you for joining us for our coverage of LA City Section football. For Greg Camarillo, my name is Randy Roosevelt. You see next week's game from San Diego. Keskes and company fell short. Banning finally beats Carson. It breaks the 16-game losing streak.